If I could only use 3 running routines, somebody said, you can only do 3 routines this camp and you have to get fight ready. Which ones would I use? And that basically tells you which ones I think are the most important and which ones you should be doing as you prep up for your fight. We're gonna talk about that today. So when it comes to running and getting ready for a fight, it's very important to be doing the right routines that are gonna prep you up for the rigors and the exertion required to win bouts. And a lot of people, in my opinion, don't have good routines. I've seen them go and do runs and I go, oh, that's not gonna be doing anything. You're putting an hour in to going and doing activity, but it's not gonna be designed for the sport, which you're competing in. And if I was limited for some reason to 3 routines, I have probably about 20 different ones that I do, but if I went, what are the 3 most important that I have to do every camp, that I have to take the time to prioritize? That's the focus right now. Now, the first one that I want to stop and I want to address and recommend to you is a straight 4K run as fast as you can. And yes, you can time, but I honestly don't. And I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, oh, Gabriel, how long does it take you to run 4K? But I can't really give you an exact answer. I can sort of tell you like, oh, it usually takes me 4 songs. So let's say they're 4-minute songs, maybe 16 minutes is what we're talking about. But it's not so much the time for me, it's the mentality behind the run. Basically never being comfortable with the pace. Always pushing a pace where you're going, oh, this hurts. And I wanna ease back, but I'm not going to. I try and keep that mentality for pretty much every step. Do a little warm up, take 10 minutes, get your body loose, warm up, and then charge for 4 kilometers. I truly believe this is one of the runs that helps my cardio excel in the fight. It's a distance and a pace, or more importantly, a pace which you cannot maintain for a long period of time. So some people might say, oh, Gabriel, why don't you just go and run 10K? That's way better than running 4. But I go, the 4K is at a pace which you cannot maintain, and to me, that is the fight. I want to be fighting at a pace which is really fatiguing for my opponent. And before we move on to the last 2 running routines, which I would have to have in my training arsenal as I prep up for a fight, I want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this episode, Usui, and we have today a red light therapy belt. Now, this is something that as an athlete, you're 100% gonna wanna get on board with. Red light therapy, you can see right here, is something that I have been using now for over 15 years. And I'm not making that up. When I first hurt my back years and years ago, it was recommended to me and I took full advantage of having a red light therapy device on me as much as I possibly could. The problem with it back then, 15 years ago, is the device was $2,000. Now, Usui is providing these belts for under $200. And that's the amazing thing about technology. As it becomes more and more commonplace, the price drops and drops. And I really, truly believe that the red light therapy helped me, so much so that every time I have an injury now, I actually use red light therapy on my body. Case in point, my knee right now is bugging me a little bit, so I'm gonna be strapping this on my knee and just making sure that I'm giving it the love it needs. Now let's break down what red light therapy actually does for you. I am by no means an expert in science, so I'm actually just gonna read what it does because trying to memorize all this is just way too much for my teeny tiny little brain. So red light therapy helps to improve blood flow, relieve pain, and rejuvenate skin. Light therapy is perfect for anybody who experiences stiffness, pain, inflammation, menstrual cramps. Don't have those. You would flip this around if that was the case, put it on the stomach, and even for people who are looking to boost their skincare regime. And you can use the benefits of this now from the comfort of your own home. There's a couple places in town where you can go in and go on a red light therapy bed, but man, that costs a lot of money, and you gotta leave home and you gotta go and make the big trek down to these facilities. It goes on to say that the red light in this can penetrate the surface layer of the skin, and the mitochondria and the cells absorb most of the red light. That can help with the cell renewal process, which will help the healing of wounds, ulcers, or improve immunity. Also, red light therapy can penetrate into the tissues, organs, and the joints, improve blood circulation, decrease inflammation, relieve pain, and repair cells. It achieves not instant, but long-lasting effects. And that's what I've noticed throughout the years. That's the main thing that I've noticed when I put the red light therapy on me. It's not instant. It's not like I get up after 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm 100% better. But I can feel after a couple of weeks of putting it on the same spot, the body getting stronger and recovering. And that is what we want. We want that long-term recovery. So for myself, I haven't even had to put the red light therapy on my back in quite a while. It's been a couple of years. Now I focus on other areas that are injured, but my back went from the point where I couldn't even splash water on my face when I was over the sink to now being rock solid for the past 3 or 4 years. So red light therapy, I think it's something you should get on board with. There's an effective, efficient way now to do that with Usui. I have a promo code GV20, which will save you 20% on this product. And if you're wanting to just fight through some stiffness, some pain, some soreness, some injuries, this might be the key to getting you there. And Usui's red light therapy belt has a number of settings. There's the solid one, we got a pulse, and then we have a whole bunch of different light settings and heat settings. So overall, I think you will be thrilled with this product once you get it on your body and once you feel yourself starting to recover from whatever ailments you may have. The next running routine, and I'm gonna go through the whole thing here, which I recommend, is at the track or the soccer field. And what we're gonna do on this one is a lot of stop and go, stop and go. I'll start off usually with a 1 kilometer warm up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do a semi sort of warm up jog, about 50 meters at about 60%. Then I'll walk a little bit, take a little rest, walk back or run back 50 meters, about 70%. Little walk, kind of 80%, walk 90%. Now I'm really close and ready to being able to go and do a full sprint without gassing out really fast and also without worrying about pulling a hamstring. From there, now the routine gets mean. Sprint the length of the soccer field or sprint the straight part of a track and then jog the rounded part or jog the width. Sprint, jog 10 times. 1, 2, 3. You end up going around the track 5 times or the soccer field 5 times and you blow out those legs, you blow out the lungs, you take a little break when you're done and then you go full sprints around the soccer field. Minute break between each one and you run them so fast. You're trying to get them done in a minute at the soccer field, maybe even less. At the track, for me, a normal time is kind of like 1:10 getting around. It's that minute break, which really hits you hard. And then from there, a little cool down, little stretch. That's routine number 2, and it's one that I make myself do twice a week as I start peaking out in camp. The final routine, which I would go, yes, I have to do this one as well, is finding a hill that is not really short, but actually relatively long. The one that I have, which is just over there, little mountain which we have, there's a section which is about 350 meters. 300 to 400, somewhere in there, fairly mean slope. And I start at the bottom and I basically just run up as fast as I can at a pace which I know I can maintain. I don't blow my legs out and sprint 100 meters and then go, oh, I can't go any further. It's basically a consistent paced run right to the top, but I'm not dawdling. I'm not doing this. I'm going fast. I run up and then I walk down. And I run up and I walk down. I only do that 5 times. Obviously I have a warm up at the beginning where I run a couple kilometers. At the end, maybe a kilometer cool down just so I don't have too much lactic acid filling up in my legs. But really the meat and bones of this run is just charging up that 300-400 meters and then taking a break as I walk down so that the next time can be just as fast as the first. And I'm trying to make sure that all the runs, all 5 of them, are very equal in time or pace to get to the top. That is the third and final routine, which I absolutely say I have to be doing in fight camp. If you take all 3 of these and you eliminate everything else, you've done a couple things for yourself. Number 1, you're doing fast-paced runs, which are really challenging your lungs. You're not going out for a long distance one. In addition, you're saving yourself time and you're not pounding the pavement too often. So your knee joints, your hips will thank you, especially on those hill runs, but overall, the body does not take too much damage because of the shorter distance, and you don't have to be like, oh, okay, I gotta make time for an hour and a half out on the road today for my road work. No, most of these you can get done in about 45 minutes in total, grand total. I head over, get out of my car, I start the routine, 45 minutes later, I'm back in my car, and this is something that people out there who have school, work, families, whatever else you have in terms of obligations, you can still fit these in because they are short enough that they don't demolish your whole evening or your morning. So I hope you guys really enjoyed hearing what a world champion would put as his preferred runs that I absolutely cannot do without in fight camp. And you do these 3 and only these 3 for 6 weeks before your fight, you are gonna be in very, very good shape. You can get rid of all the other runs that you've been doing, and these will take care of everything. I don't do these runs every time I go. It's not just these 3. Like I said, I have about 20. I have stairs. I have other hill runs, which are shorter. I have one hill run, which is like 1.5 kilometers. I mix it up. But the most important thing for me is that these 3, which we mentioned today, these 3 get done at least once per week. Very, very important. And if I do that, each 3 of those once per week, then the other 2 days, I can go like, oh, okay, I'll pick something else. Something which isn't quite as hard or a little longer, slower pace, something different. But that's really all you need to know. Get these done and you will be fight ready. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, please. Get subscribed if you have not already. As always, guys, train hard. I'll see you back here soon for another episode.